Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Shhhcrets, where we dive deep into the scandals and secrets of both famous and ordinary folks. If you're new here, I'm your favorite faceless YouTuber, for now. I'm on the road to 50K subscribers, which may seem ambitious for someone with just 90 subs, but hey, you've got to set big goals to keep the motivation flowing. So, I was casually scrolling through the internet, minding my own business. Well, not really, when I stumbled upon this spicy story and I just had to share it with you. Here's what's up. I'll break down the story, explain the dilemma, and then share my advice on the situation, giving it to you straight. No chaser. Ready? Let's dive in. So, this wife shared that she hates splitting bills with her husband. They both make about the same amount of money, but she feels like he should be paying the bigger bills while she handles the smaller ones. I mean, growing up, she saw her grandparents' relationship where her grandma didn't have to work much, and her grandpa took care of all the bills. That's the setup she imagined for herself when she got married. But here's where things get tricky. Her husband, he doesn't see it that way at all. He's all about splitting things 50-50, and guess what? His mom agrees with him. So, we already see where some of his values are coming from. He even went as far as to say he would never fully take care of a woman financially. Ouch, right? She says she gets his point of view, but it doesn't stop her from feeling devalued. Like, she's settling because of their financial arrangement. And here's where it gets even more complicated. She pointed out that he spends way more money on personal things, hobbies, gadgets, whatever, while the only time she spends her own money is on the household. So now she's feeling like he's living carefree while she's handling the bulk of the home-related expenses, and that's not sitting well with her. Now, let's get into what people had to say in the comments, because they didn't hold back. One commenter pointed out something important. You're not wrong, but that should have been brought up before marriage. This is a big one, and it's something a lot of people overlook when they're caught up in the excitement of planning a wedding. Financial compatibility is just as important as emotional or physical compatibility. If you're not on the same page about money before you say I do, it's almost guaranteed to be a problem later. You can't expect someone to change their financial mindset just because you're married now. These are the conversations that need to happen before the wedding, and that's a lesson for everyone listening. Another commenter said, I'd get myself a roommate if I wanted to split everything 50-50. That's a bold take, but it's real. When you're married, you expect a different level of partnership than what you'd get with a roommate. If splitting things 50-50 feels like a business transaction rather than a marriage, then something's off. A lot of people want to feel taken care of, or at least like there's balance, and that's where this wife's frustration is coming from. Then you had others chiming in, flat out disagreeing with the 50-50 arrangement. One person even said, finances should be sorted before the wedding bells ring. Again, it's all about those pre-marriage conversations. If you don't talk about money, you might be setting yourself up for conflict down the road. So, the consensus from the comments was pretty clear. People think this is something that should have been discussed way before they got married. Historically, men were expected to be the primary breadwinners. Our parents, grandparents, they were used to seeing men pay the bills while women handled the home. But now, the dynamics have shifted. We're seeing more dual income households, and with that comes a shift in how finances are managed. However, it's important to remember that even in dual income households, not everyone agrees on splitting things equally. For some, a 50-50 split feels fair, but for others, it feels like it diminishes the partnership. The wife in this story is feeling like her husband is living carefree, spending on himself while she's stuck managing the house. That's where the issue of fairness comes in. It's not just about the amount of money. It's about feeling valued and like both people are contributing in a way that works for them. In modern relationships, there's also this new concept of financial independence. Some men, like this husband, believe that splitting everything 50-50 represents equality and fairness. For them, it's about making sure both partners are equally invested in the household. But here's the thing. Fairness isn't always about splitting things down the middle. Fairness is about contributing in ways that make sense for both people. If she's handling most of the household responsibilities, maybe it's fair for him to contribute more financially. The question becomes, what's fair for you? Here's my 2 cents. First of all, let me just say, I'm not a 50-50 girl. Nope. If my man came up to me and said, "Baby, you've worked all your life, let me take that burden off you," I'd be over the moon. Really, baby? You mean my money is my money? I can use it however I like? Yes, please. But I also recognize that times are tough. A lot of men today aren't built the way they used to be, and that's for a lot of reasons. Some of them are red-pilled, some have been burned by past relationships, and others have friends who went through messy divorces. So, even the men who can afford to be sole providers, they hesitate. And ladies, I always keep it balanced here. I'm all for hypergamy if the man can afford it. If he's in a position to fully support you financially, great. But this husband? It doesn't sound like he's there financially. So, what are we really doing here? Marriage is about teamwork, and if the financial situation isn't where you'd like it to be, sometimes you have to adjust. Now, I'm not saying go 50-50 because I wouldn't, but what I am saying is that this is why honesty, transparency, and communication are key during the dating stages. Before you tie the knot, you need to see if you're financially compatible, not just emotionally or physically compatible. If you didn't want to be a 50-50 girl, the time to speak up was before you said, "I do." Don't agree to something you're not okay with just to get the ring. You can't blindside someone by changing the terms halfway through the marriage. For those of you watching, financial disagreements like this can breed resentment if they're not addressed quickly. My advice? Sit down with your partner and have an honest conversation about what will make both of you feel comfortable. Maybe 50-50 doesn't work for you, but what about 40-60 or 70-30? The key is finding a solution that works for both of you. It's not too late to have this conversation, but the longer you wait, the more resentment will build. And once that resentment is there, it's hard to shake. And to my single ladies out there, learn from this. Don't ignore these red flags during the dating stage. Be upfront about your expectations before you get serious. If you expect your man to take on more of the financial load, say that early on, you don't want to be having these conversations after the wedding when it's much harder to make changes. All right, that's a wrap. But before we go, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about splitting bills? Are you a 50-50 person, or do you think one partner should take on more of the financial load? Let me know in the comments. I love reading your thoughts. And of course, if you like my vibe, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Until next time, bye.